And we are live! Hello everyone! Welcome to our very first live video for Tiles of the Arabian Nights, our brand new adventure storytelling game by Olivier Melison, who is here, and Mathieu Potvin, who is not.
He was just here.
He was just here.
For the French version.
Yes.
But his English is passable.
I mean, better than my Hungarian, for example.
Yes. No relation, but sure.
But he was not particularly comfortable with being with us speaking in English because it's tough.
It is complicated.
Yeah.
Says the person who speaks French as the mother tongue. Yeah. Well, now I've heard it all. Great, cool.
So we are here with just Jamie, who is here with his computer. He is not watching Netflix. He is answering your questions in the comments section. So feel free to ask any questions.
I'll be mostly chatting here, but it's also to keep an eye on your questions. I think Kayla will be more active as the text replies. But if you guys ask any questions and we catch it, we'll be sure to try and answer it here.
Absolutely. If there's anything in particular you would like us to talk about, then please feel free to ask and we will do our best. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the concept of Tiles of the Arabian Nights, let me give you a very quick rundown. So it is, as I said before, a storytelling adventure game. It is for 2 to 5 players for ages 12 and up. Playtime is about 10 minutes per player. We're looking about, 60 minutes if you're a bit if there's a lot of you and you're a bit slow, it could take
depending on the stories.
It depends on a lot of things, how fast you play, what kind of stories you tell, because that's what the game is kind of all about.
We're going for short novels. 60 minutes. If somebody wants to do Tolkien, it's going to be a bit longer.
It'll be a bit longer. So the game is about the Tales of the Arabian Nights. So this is happening after the Tales of the Arabian Nights. Mm-hmm. And the idea is in honour of the Queen Scheherazade who told those 1001 Arabian Night tales. The Sultan now holds a contest every year to find out who the best storyteller in his kingdom happens to be. And this year, we are all citizens of Baghdad taking part in said competition. But of course, it's not easy to tell a good story.
No.
So you are looking for a bit of inspiration to try and tell the best story that you can. Starting from Baghdad, so we have the board here in front of us, you are going to be exploring this desert area here around the main city, collecting these little square adventure tiles. There are 12 different types. They can be all different things, from weapons to places to monsters to meetings with particular characters. And you are going to collect them and add them to your player caravan board. The tiles can be used for lots of different things. You can use them they can be sold at the market. You can sell treasures at the market to gain victory points. Mm-hmm. You can collect them to score points at the end of the game. So there's a little bit of a set collection mechanic going on.
Exactly. For the monsters.
Yes. Or you can use them to fascinate your friends with your epic storytelling abilities. So the idea is every adventure tile has a completely unique illustration on the back. For example, if I turn over this monster, well, in this case, it happens to be a rather ferocious-looking spirit, perhaps a jinn, perhaps
Ifrit.
It can be whatever you want. Yes. It could be a ghost. Why not? It's up to you. This movement tile turns out to be a particularly speedy-looking horse. This building turns out to be a bridge. We have another building here that turns out to be some kind of very fancy-looking villa. So every tile has a different illustration on the back, and the idea is they are supposed to guide you to tell a fascinating story to your friends at the table. You start the game with a certain number of story tiles, so one of each type. These story tiles show the types of tile that you need to collect before you return to Baghdad to tell your story. So here, for example, this tile is quite easy. All I need is a building and some food. Once I have found that building and that food, I can then return to Baghdad and I have to invent a tale. It is improvised narration, improvised storytelling. I am going to do the very best I can to tell what may be a very short story of the adventure that I had when I left Baghdad.
And to recognize all the symbols over there,
you
have some environments on the tiles.
That's it.
The places are always the same, so we don't know what it is
on the other side,
but we recognize quite easily on the board what kind of
tile we're
of
looking
tiles
at.
we are looking for.
Yeah, so you can always tell what type of tile you're going to be picking up, but what you don't know is exactly what is going to be on the other side. So as Olivier was saying, these the places all have this little palm tree symbol, and they all have this little oasis environment on the back. But then when you flip it over, it could be anything. That is an actual oasis.
Or a beach.
Or maybe a beach.
Yeah.
Why not?
And it's really different from the others.
Yes.
You know, we have roughly 150 illustrations.
Yeah.
So every toy has a different side. The other side,
Yeah.
a complete different illustration for
That's
every
it.
toys,
And
which give you some ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
To make the narration.
Yes, definitely. The tiles are there to guide and inspire you to tell a story. You can be as free with it as you like. It is quite a flexible, fun storytelling mechanic. The illustrations are there to make it as easy for you as possible to come up with something if you're not particularly at ease with this kind of mechanic. But if you are, you can get really creative. And we have had a lot of fun playtesting this game.
I think we never had the same story with
No.
the amount of session that we have done.
Yeah, that's
we never
absolutely
heard
true.
something.
Yeah.
Every time is different.
Yeah.
Even if when we are playing together.
Yeah, definitely. So once you've completed your story and all of the people around the table are super impressed, you are all going to vote. So each player has their own set of vote tokens, like the ones I had in my hand there. And they are going to give you a score of 1 to 5, depending on how good they thought your story was. Bearing in mind, you will know their player colour, so you will know the score that they gave you. And then once all the players have voted, you will take at random a Sultan token from the middle of the board. The Sultan was not impressed.
Yeah, not impressed
in
at
this case.
all.
Not this
because
time, no.
The value of the Sultan goes from 1 to 4.
Yeah.
But if you have a 1, it doesn't. It is complicated because the Sultan didn't hear you quite well. But at least he says he gives you some advantage.
A little gift to help you
to go back to adventures.
Yeah, do a better job next time. So
in that case, you would start with a North Star tiles.
Yeah.
And you put it in your caravan.
So you get a little something extra to feed your next storytelling attempt to be a little bit better. So we have a small storytelling board here, which is a separate scoring tracker. So this is victory points, and this is storytelling points. And the player that has the highest storytelling score at the end of the game is going to get additional points. So in the first one, it's 23. So it's worth having a crack at doing a good job with those stories.
Absolutely.
That said, it is not, as I said, the only way to score points. I can collect tiles and sell them on the market. There are different types of treasures I can find. There are monsters to defeat, which I can collect different sets of and score extra points at the end of the game on as well.
Yeah, on your board, you have some places for different monsters, and this is your trophies.
Yes.
You can collect different monsters, or the same one, because every monsters have 3 strength. So you start with 1 scimitar, 2 scimitars, and then you have some others bigger and stronger. And you will add to your caravan for the end scoring.
Absolutely. So it really is quite a unique game because it combines mechanics that we're all familiar with. A bit of simple pick and delivery.
Yeah,
I go around, I
set
collect the things I need.
yes,
Set collections. And then the narration that comes in as really a big part of the theme. That I found very surprising when the first time you pitched this idea to us, it was very surprising. So
the idea was, are you sure about the narration? In this game, are you sure? Yes, we are. No. It started at the beginning. We needed this. It was at the beginning the narration with the game.
Yes.
And it has been decided like this.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to do anything else that come back and tell a story with your trophies.
Yeah.
And give some ideas how you could tell a story, your adventures or whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it was part at the beginning of the project.
Yeah. Well, you said to me that when you worked on this game with Mathieu, you actually started from Carcassonne.
Yes,
and you wanted to create a kind of
absolutely.
reverse Carcassonne.
Mathieu likes a lot the tiles game.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do something about the tiles game, using the tiles as part of the mechanics of the game. But the idea is you have Carcassonne. Carcassonne is a great game.
It is a great game.
We wanted to do a reverse Carcassonne, meaning that we wanted, because by Carcassonne you build your
Tableau.
or your tableau.
Yeah.
And we wanted to start from a tableau and then destroy it. And the destruction of the tableau could bring some of the things into your caravan.
Yeah.
So the theme of the Arabian Night, the tales of the Arabian Night, was at first nearly come directly into our mind.
Yeah.
It was nearly obvious to go
Because
there.
you're a big fan of
Absolutely,
the Tales of the Arabian Nights.
I read all the books,
Yeah.
all the different books, because there is the Tales of the Arabian Night, but some others have been written about Sinbad, the navigator, and Sinbad the
Explorer.
On foot. I don't know the word.
The power walker.
Yeah, something like this. So there's a lot of things about the legends about the Tales of the Arabian Night, which are from different writers. So I wanted to do with Eric at the beginning something about the Arabian Night. And directly it was obvious to use this kind of mechanics, to destroy something, get back there, and tell a story as Scheherazade did in the novel.
Sure.
And then we just had to, we did a prototype quite fast, make our test, and it worked well.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Because I played versions of this before, long before it looked like this, and it's essentially the same now.
Absolutely.
As it was then.
The different things that we moved or we changed, it's how we score the narration. It was really the crux of the real difficulty of the game, of the designing, is to evaluate the narration.
Sure.
And we went through different proposals, and at the end, it seems that this is the best one for the test that we have done. It seems the best one.
Well, scoring narration is difficult because you'll correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but we didn't want the storytelling to be weaponized.
Yeah.
That was kind of the idea.
We kind of started out with that when we were like, this could be really good thematically. It's fun. It works. It's something fresh. It's something new. And we were like, okay, but how do we weaponize? That's the term we coined, the narration, because this is a game. It's meant to be fun, but there is a winner. There is a competitive side to it, and we kind of told ourselves, well, how do we add a value to that without making it game breaking, so to speak?
I agree, and the idea was like Dixit. When you are playing Dixit, if you don't play the game, because you could calculate everything, but if you don't play the game, change the game. Don't play
something else.
Absolutely.
We came to the acknowledgement that this wasn't a hyper competitive game. The joy that we got from developing it and playing it was in the storytelling and the adventures our characters had and all that kind of thing. It wasn't a game where we got our kicks for big Euro engine building and mass point scoring and comboing off different things. It just wasn't a game like that, but it offered something else, and that's what really kept us going during development.
At the end, the pleasure is not to win the game. The pleasure is to participate on the narration, on the story.
It's nice to win.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be taken that that means this is just a game where you move a thing around a board, pick up some tiles, and then tell a story, and that's it. That's your experience. There is a real pick and delivery game behind that. There is well thought out scoring mechanics, all that kind of thing.
Behind, because if you are, as we are, quite an expert gamer, most of our games is more the expert games than the
party game.
The party game, and you can play quite when you can calculate your every move. You can optimize your moves.
Sure, of course you can.
You can optimize your tableau, and everything must be thought before starting playing, which is tricky to mix with the narration, because if you want to have a good narration, you need to think about what I'm going to tell now that I'm concentrating on my moves to optimize everything, and then I've got my story.
I tend to do it the other way round. I'm thinking so much about the story I'm going to tell.
And not to optimize your moves.
No, so I'm kind of wandering around, and I go, I need to get back to Baghdad because I want to tell my story. And in that time, you know, other players will come and whip some tiles out from under me that I maybe would have needed. But that's just how that's how you play the game.
Absolutely.
And I as Olivier was saying, I was the first to be a little bit perhaps skeptical about this this game when the concept was first presented. It's outlandish.
It's an odd duck.
It is, and it's not like anything we have ever done before. But I mean, obviously, I'm massively biased when I say that it works really well. But it obviously it does. We fully expect that this will not be everyone's cup of tea. But I truly believe there's something in this for everyone, because if you are really into the storytelling, there's something to do, and if you are less into the storytelling, there's something to do.
Exactly. And at the end, it is exactly the game that we wanted to do.
Yes.
So it's a gorgeous game.
Yeah.
It's full, you know, of illustration.
Yeah.
It's rich. It's colorful, you know. And it's when we talked with Mathieu last week, and we said we are proud of the product at the end.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we had in mind.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you are making games, you know, between what we have in mind and what is going to be at the end, sometimes because many people are going through this, the illustrator, the graphic teams, even the product, even at the end, you know, the sound timer, everything, you know, is added and it to come real. And it's exactly what we wanted, which is really great. We feel really grateful about this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like anything I've played before. When you try and describe it, you're kind of like, well, it's a little bit like this, but then it's got some of that, and it's not really like either of them. So it really is unique. Obviously, it's really beautiful. Fantastic job from a full female illustration team. Joelle Jans, who works here at Holy Grail Games, and did an amazing job on the cover, the board, tons of the game elements, the player board. She illustrated those, and then Amber Schaaf, who did all of the tiles.
Well, the other side of the tiles.
Joelle did this side of the tiles, and then the illustration on the other side of the tiles, Amber.
And both are so important into the game, you know, because you need something really relevant to watch, to look at, and at the same time, you need something which gives you some ideas about the story I'm going to tell.
Yeah.
And it was really complicated to make the illustration. We need to work a lot with the illustrator, not to make some suggestion, not to have too much suggestion into the illustrations.
I have a quick question that has come up. A very interesting question as well, one we have gone before. So this is from Daniel Kraus. Nice to see you. Brilliant idea with the storytelling aspect. Thank you very much. Why did you decide to set the suggested age to 12 plus and not lower? So that's something I will answer myself, because this isn't really an author aspect or a design aspect as far as it goes. Mathieu has played with his 6-year-old child.
Yes, he has 3 children, 12 to 6, and he's playing a lot with them, with all the families. He has a big families, and he is playing with them perfectly.
We've had people that have play tested who've had children around the same age, saying, I think my kids would enjoy playing this.
Yeah.
Even if they don't latch onto the mechanical side, or maybe they do like the mechanical side, maybe they are a bit initiated into board games, so they can do a bit of that, but they like the storytelling part. We actually had a comment, I think today or yesterday, from somebody saying, I think my 3-year-old could play this. All right.
We had Nick from Board Game Review UK, who wrote a really interesting review about the game. He was kind enough to give it a go for us and to write an article. The link to Nick's article is on the Gamefound page, where he fully expected his children to hate it and not really take part, but they absolutely did. So really, the game can be played with almost children of any age, depending on how confident they are, how into this kind of thing they are, if they happen to be a little bit outgoing and creative. But we did put it at 12 plus for a reason.
Yeah, and it's a very boring reason, sadly.
Boring.
It's just the production elements. It's the toy aspect, it's the choking hazard for young children. That's why we have to do it.
Small tokens.
Exactly. We do honestly believe that it can be played, and obviously we've had a fair amount of validation of that belief that the game can be played by younger players if you'd like to. However, as a toy, obviously there are small parts, that kind of thing. And setting the age much lower actually makes the game very, very difficult to sell in certain markets, because it then is classified as a toy, which is a whole different kettle of fish of regulations. That's a very boring answer. I know you were probably hoping for something more interesting, Daniel, but there we go. Thank you very much for the question. Hope that clarifies that.
Yes.
So where were we?
Boring marketing stuff.
Marketing production stuff.
Production. We were talking about
the illustration.
Yes,
the illustration
yes.
job, which is absolutely phenomenal. And Olivier was saying that the illustrations, Amber did a absolutely titanic job on illustrating these tiles, because they are quite small, as you can see. They are beautifully colourful. They needed to be of very specific things, but at the same time, not overly detailed or having too many elements to them that would force the player to tell a story in a certain way. If I want to give an example of that, we have a item in the game that is jars of some kind of green substance. Originally, when she drew that illustration for us, it had, I think, a skull and crossbones on it.
There were
Clearly poison.
Poison. Absolutely.
It's clearly
Definitely
poison.
it was poison, but it was too much. There's too much suggestion in it.
We wanted to make the illustrations a way to guide you without forcing you to go down that route. So something with a skull and crossbones on it, well, that's clearly poison. And or probably it's probably going to be edible, but probably only once.
Yes.
It's not the best. It needed to be less linear.
Absolutely,
in terms of where it
because
took
this
you.
green liquid could be oil,
Yes.
poison, some
Wine.
tea, some wine,
Tincture. Dye.
Yeah, anything.
Just about anything.
Something
Weirder,
weird, really weird.
darker.
I mean, we had at the beginning we had also we had a giant rock tile. So the birds, exactly that one.
It's that one.
Which has kind of become more of a phoenix now, but before it was sort of like a giant rock, and it had an elephant in its claws, and there is a tail. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Where you get this giant bird that carries off an elephant, and that's what was drawn.
Yeah.
However, the problem with that was either that elephant is a toy or that bird is very big.
Yeah.
And there's not really any way around it. So we have to incite people or we have to incite players rather, to use their imagination, make the image what they want to make it, not forcibly just what they see.
Yeah.
It's a bird, it could be a chicken. It doesn't have to be a phoenix, it could be any kind of bird.
Absolutely.
It just has to fit into your story and make it sound fun and interesting.
If you watch the game trailer, which is on the Gamefound page or on our YouTube channel, we show two completely different stories that you could tell with the same tiles. Well, one of them is kind of an adventurer who's stolen some diamonds from the nest of a giant bird and is now running for her life because it really didn't go according to plan. And then the second illustration is a kind of much smaller, sort of regular-sized bird that's sort of mystical looking, sitting on top of an altar in a ruined temple, guarding a
magical
bow.
bow,
Yeah,
exactly.
so it really is completely different. One of the examples I love to go back to each time is this tile. It's the bridge. And I love to see people's faces when they draw this tile for the first time and they go, I'm in the desert, what is a bridge doing?
Or you tell me.
Exactly, you tell me. And I have never heard one person interpret the bridge in the same way. You did an entire city that was just on a bridge.
The bridge country.
Like the bridge, was it in Paris back in the day?
Absolutely, the Pont Neuf.
Pont Neuf, that's the one, yeah. There we go.
So yeah, I mean, it really it's super fun. I personally, when I play this game, I love to try and make it so that my stories are continued. So each story that I tell is a continuation of the one I told before. Some people like to get really crazy with it. I've played this game with people who were completely uncomfortable with storytelling, 100% uncomfortable with it, and it was hilarious because we played this game with Joelle, who was one of the illustrators and who is not into this kind of thing at all. And she came up with TripAdvisor.
Yes, wow, that was a ride, that game. Wow.
Which was the tale of her holidays in the desert and the reviews that she gave each of the places she went to visit. And it was so funny. We did have a really fun time with that. So it's very the narration part. I think some people find very intimidating, but it really is open to interpretation. You can do what you want.
You can do what you want. Yeah,
and
exactly.
we are all playing the same game, so
We're all
every
playing the same
player
game.
will tell a story.
Sure, yeah.
And once again, there is a narration element of which you are encouraged to take part. Everything is there to inspire you, make you comfortable, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do narration and just turn up, okay, I'm not really a narration guy, I don't really like it, but there is a pick a mechanic game behind that, which is completely robust.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Try it, you might like it. If not, there are more than a few ways to get to win the game. As we said before, narration is a big part of the game in terms of theme and the fun aspect of it, trying something new, it being a bit fresh. But it is not the only way to gain points, and in fact, that was an important factor for us. We did not want narration to become the determining factor of point scoring.
Because there are great games that do that already.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But this also has like a Euro game mechanic behind it, and players need to be rewarded by exploiting by using the mechanics and optimizing the mechanics.
Yeah.
As a reminder, all of this scoring that you do for the narration is not pure victory points. It is a delta of points. You get scored via your placement with the other players for your best story and only your best story at the end of the game. So everybody generally gets some points. Sometimes you get pipped to the post. There is the random element of the Sultan who can be more or less impressed. Yeah. That kind of comes and puts a bit of uncertainty into it. You never know.
The narration is about 1/3 of the final point and the final scoring.
Yeah.
So it's not only focused on narration.
No.
And you have some of the things that you may make only one story.
Yeah.
But with the market, with the monsters,
Yeah.
you can bring some other things into the game.
Think of the narration as the delicious chocolate chips in what's already a really good cookie.
In fact, I have a
crisps. No, but not chocolate.
chocolate chip wasabi. Is that a thing? Where did that come from?
The salt and vinegar crisps.
There we go. It's the vinegar with the salt on the crisp. This is again a very, very
very
complex
out.
anecdote.
You get the idea.
I actually have a reply from Daniel. So his kids are 7 to 10, so he thinks this would be a game they enjoy. But he does say he thinks there would be a nice educational aspect to it in making them open up. Yeah. Which, as we were kind of talking about, we've played this game with some of our team who are avid role players, weekly.
Olivier.
Yeah, weekly, or even those that play on a weekly basis and year-long campaigns, that kind of thing. They are much more open to this off-the-cuff narrating attitude, as it were. And we've played with Joelle, who is not at all into that. No. But once she found her groove, the whole Trip Vizier thing, which was a great... I think she won...
Yeah. We even played with Magic the Gathering players.
Yeah.
So the hardcore beginners.
I have a group of Magic friends that we always have play our games to see how super serious players get on with the game. And even they really got into this, which was a surprise to me. Yeah. But there you go. It's we've learned a lot about people playing this game with them.
Yes, you do. I mean, you said it yourself the other day. I think what's really fun about the narrative aspect of the game is that everyone brings a piece of themselves to the table. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you, the stories you tell could end up being really epic and creative. They could end up being completely ridiculous. Or they could end up being something completely different. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Depending on who you're playing with.
I don't know what you are talking about.
I mean,
a couscous pot with green bells on.
God. Oh, wow. So, I mean, when you play with a group of your adult friends, it is a completely different shade of fun to when you're playing with kids or, your
with
nan.
Your grandfather or whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's great. But if you want to maybe just tell stories in a very simple way by laying out the tasks that you've got, telling your story and then concentrating on killing monsters and selling stuff on the market, there's something in there for you too. But the narrative aspect is not tacked on.
Yeah.
So
it was a learning experience for us developing it, and it's something a lot of people walk into, as we said before, and be like, oh, this is. Not sure what to think of this. Yeah. So far, so good. Yeah. I want to say.
Absolutely. If you would like to have a look at how this plays, we have a gameplay video on our YouTube channel that is currently available where we go through the rules, explain how the game works, and then play through. I think we each tell a story. We do a 3-player game. Everybody tells a story. I did too. So yeah, we each tell a couple of stories, and then we do the sort of final scoring. So that will give you an idea of how it works.
And during the campaign, we may ask some other things, which can come through from other reviewers.
Absolutely, yeah. And while we're at it, why don't we talk about the campaign a bit?
Yeah, because there's so this is our first campaign on Gamefound. There's a couple of things which are different from our normal campaigns.
Yeah.
Such, for example, one of the things that Gamefound now allows you to do is give away follower rewards. So for those of you that followed the campaign before its launch, you get your free deluxe token set.
Yep.
And also, we are doing an early bird for the first time, I think, ever, which is the same token set. So for those of you that haven't seen it yet, all of the character standees, all of the score tokens, all of the the lamp, the compass rose, that kind of thing. All of those is replaced by nice, chunky, colourful wood printed on both sides. Silk screen printing, as it's called. Some of you might have seen components like that before. So we were giving that away for free to people that followed the campaign page before the campaign launched. The campaign has now launched. But don't worry, we have this early bird pledge where if you are one of the first 1,000 backers to pledge the campaign, to support the campaign rather, you will also get the same token set. Yeah. Basically, we wanted to reward everybody that followed the campaign and showed interest, but also if you didn't hear about the campaign before and you're just hearing about it, you still have the chance to get it. Yeah. If you aren't one of those 1,000 people, don't worry, it will be available as an add-on afterwards. Once those 1,000s have gone, or maybe even before, we'll unlock that. It's programmed, it's just waiting in the wings, so as not to confuse people. Yeah. If you were one of the people that followed the campaign previously, before its launch, you don't need to pledge the early bird. Even when you pledge, technical moment here, even when you confirm your pledge, it may not show up in your basket. Yeah. Don't worry about that. It will appear later on. Don't worry, you can just pledge normal level. Yep. There we go. Apart from that, some things that we have done before and we are doing again is, of course, daily unlocks. Yep. Obviously, we don't do stretch goals anymore. We do the more, shall we say, sustainable daily unlock system. The first one today was the mythical monsters.
Yes.
Which is basically boss versions, shall we say, of the monsters that already exist in the game. They're mean, they're bigger, they're worth points and treasure. But we'll talk about that another day. And if you play your cards right, or I suppose wrong if you're not very handy with a sword, they will turn up and face off with you.
Yep.
And so that's the first of quite a few modules. We've listed them on the campaign page.
There are 7.
There are 7, exactly, right, that we'll be talking about during the campaign. We'll be unlocking something brand new every day, giving you guys an explanation of what it does and what it will bring to your games of tiles.
Yeah.
Apart from that, well, once again, our first big campaign on Gamefound. Some of you may not have used Gamefound before. It's a crowdfunding platform built specifically for board games. Yep. There are other projects, but it's run by a company that's very, very familiar, shall we say, with board game crowdfunding, and they kind of did this project. We've already had our pledge manager on Gamefound for quite some time now. We've loved their service. We really like the platform. It seems like a more fluid experience for you guys from what we've been told. And for us as a back office, setting everything up, getting everything going, much easier. From the start of the project right through to delivery, it's just so much easier for us. So if you haven't been on Gamefound before, but then again, if you've pledged any big campaigns in the last 6 to 12 months, I want to say there's a strong chance that you ended up on a Gamefound pledge manager. So you probably already have an account. You're probably already familiar with it. If you're not, don't worry. It doesn't bite. It's very easy to use. So there we go. Yeah. So I went into auto scroller mode there. I think I've said everything. I think.
Well, so we have these 7 modules that we're going to be offering during the campaign. We have so those 7 modules are going to be put together into one expansion. Which is called the Legends of the Sands, and that is going to be free with every pledge. But during the campaign, we're going to be unlocking the modules as we go along so that we can explain them to you one by one. The base game is already chunky.
I mean, everything there is the base game.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, we're missing a few player boards and such, which we've tied away just for simplicity's sake.
But you have more than 150 tiles, and all the illustrations, and you play up to 5 people. Yeah. And with models, it brings some new flavor. Yeah. Meaning that if you want to have some models more focused on the scoring for the expert player, for example, you may add this models into your tiles. Or if you want to focus more on the narration, you can add another modules, which brings some new challenge in terms of stories.
There's a lot. There's a lot of different
things.
stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Some of it is combat based. Some of it is movement based. You have things that block you. That make moving
the desert of the death, the desert. Bring some
The desert.
Which is not something you have to eat.
It's not that Simpsons episode. No, it's well, we got quite a few things planned. Obviously,
and very nice things, which brings new flavor into the game. And really enjoy this.
Yeah.
And at the end, this is nearly a big expansion with a lot of modules. Who would be into the shops? A really expensive one, It would be a full expansion. And I know you can't find it because it's nearly exclusive to the campaign.
Yes.
It is.
Well, just to clarify, it will not be exclusive to the campaign. It's what we call an online exclusive. It's not a product destined for distribution.
No.
It will be available to you guys through the campaign for free.
Yep.
You get it with, and to clarify, you get it with every box you'd like to purchase, because you can buy multiple boxes if you so wish. And every box will come with our free expansion, period. And it will be available in limited numbers, basically the leftover we have from fulfilling the campaign, afterwards via our web store.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, but this will not be going to stores as far as we have so far planned. That could change in the future, but the big difference is you guys will be getting it for free.
Yep.
The best number.
The best number.
That's a good number.
It's a magic number.
I like this.
That's my favourite price, free.
But yes, but that's one of the things. That's one of the incentives, shall we say, to help us finance this game. Obviously, we know you guys have a lot of other games going on at the moment, other interests. So we try to make it nice and interesting for you from the get-go. Obviously, we don't want to spoil all the surprises. So through the listing that we've got on the campaign page, you can kind of have a quick guesstimate of what's going to happen, what some of the modules might be about, or whatever.
Let us know if you
we go. If you've got a guess. In fact, whilst we're talking about free being the magic number, storyteller competition.
The storyteller.
Yes. So I'm really excited about this one. I hope you guys will be too. During the campaign, each week we are going to be doing a storytelling contest of our very own, which will give you the opportunity to win your pledge of Tales of the Arabian Nights. How does it work? Each week we are going to be drawing 3 tiles from the game at random, and we are going to post them in an update, images obviously, and we are going to ask you to come up with your idea of the story that you would tell if these tiles came up in a game of Tales of the Arabian Nights that you were playing with your friends. So you have a 900 character limit, and we would like you to tell the story by typing it into the comments section. We will pick our favourite one, and that person will get their pledge for free. So there are more details on the Gamefound page, but there's also going to be a fan favourite. So we will pick our winner, and then you guys get to pick your winner. The backer who gets the most likes on their comment in on their story in the comments section will also get a free pledge. So fan favourite plus our favourite. So that's 2 free pledges that we're giving away every week. But that's not all. Each week the challenge is going to get a little bit tougher, because every week we are going to, instead of asking you to start afresh with the new tiles that we bring out, we are going to ask you to continue the story from the previous week or weeks. So the idea is, by the time the campaign is through, so we're going to be having 4 rounds of this storytelling contest. The first one is tomorrow. We are going to have a full epic tale.
Hopefully, anyway. It might be epic. Ridiculous. Who knows? But
the tales of the only great games.
So it could be something completely stupid. It could be something absolutely great. Who knows? We will see. So get those creative muscles warmed up. It's all starting as from tomorrow. So there are 4 dates for this competition. Each time you're only going to have 48 hours to answer, so you're going to have to be on the ball. Go ahead and take a look in the update section. There is an update called the Storytellers Contest, and we explain exactly how it works in there. Exciting.
I think we've gone over everything.
I think we have gone over just about everything. I mean, obviously, we are very grateful to you if you've already backed. The campaign has been running for about 45 minutes.
I have a quick question about translations.
A question?
Because obviously the game is available in English, French, which we've always done, but this one is also going to be straight available in German, Spanish, and Italian. And thanks to the support of our great publishing partners, distribution partners rather. And obviously the game is not super difficult to localize because there's a rule book and a box back. Everything else is without text. However, somebody was just asking about the quality of the translations, who's going to do them. So we have different translation partners depending on the area. We've found some pretty good partners recently. If you'd like to see the kind of quality of our translation partners, you can go and check out the rule books for the Rallyman GT and Dirt game, which is something we published earlier. We've had very good feedback about that. Most of these translators that work for us also do a lot of work for even bigger publishers with even more, shall we say, stringent demands in terms of translation. So we very much trust their work, and fan proofreading feedback has been very good. So yeah, we're pretty confident in the quality of the translations.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not an easy thing to do. Back when Holy Grail was still just the two of us, I did all of the translating for a lot of our rulebooks into French, and it's hard. It's really hard, and I'm a native French speaker, so it's not easy. So we're aware of the challenges of translation and how important it is to have someone who really knows what they're doing, and especially is familiar with board game language, which is not always a given. So yes, please don't worry. We will always do our very best to make sure that our translations are optimum quality.
Because a bad rule book, there's nothing worse than that.
No.
And we've seen some bad rule books in our time.
No. I mean,
we didn't start out as the best writers either, but we like to think we've gotten
and at the end, it's not a complex game.
No.
So the rule book is quite it's not an easy one. So to be honest, you explain the game in 5 minutes.
Yes, no, this is definitely far from a hugely complex game. So translating the rule book and the box is not going to be overly difficult. I wouldn't say. I
don't think so. Okay then.
So we are always at your disposal in the comments section of the Gamefound page. If you are watching this live video when it's no longer live, because we will be republishing it on when it is this unlive video, please feel free to drop us a comment anyway. We will most definitely reply to you. Let us know if you have any questions about the game, about the campaign. We will be continuing to do these live videos throughout the campaign. We might play a game.
Maybe with the modules.
Yeah, with the modules.
We might play modules.
Answer any questions that come up.
We receive from the contest.
Yeah, we'll read the stories to you.
I'm very much looking forward to see what people come up with. I really am.
Yeah, please don't make it gross.
There is a reason we have to choose the winner, because we don't, as we say in the office, we do not want a Boaty McBoatface situation.
No, we'll it's even if we did have a Boaty McBoatface situation, that's okay.
Yeah.
But
as long as it's reasonable.
That's why if you would like to choose the Boaty McBoatface story, then you can. That will be the fan favourite, and we will be 100% behind that, and that person will get a free pledge for their ridiculous creativity. There we go. And that is what the game's all about.
Exactly. Having a good time.
Yes, absolutely.
Hopefully we'll be able to do it over the next 21 days.
Had a good time with this game. So if you're looking for more gameplay videos, more of them will be arriving during the campaign. We have got Tantrum House, who is going to do a live playthrough with their team there. We have also got Board Game Spotlight, who is going to be doing a live playthrough of the game on their channel as well. So we will keep you posted when those videos come out.
Sweet.
Other than that, there are lots of previews, different articles and things like that. We have our gameplay video that we did. There's plenty of content there for you to get familiar with the game. And of course, if you have any questions,
we're here.
Okay, well, there we go. If we don't have any more questions,
I think we're good to go.
We may as well call it a night there. So if you have already backed the Gamefound campaign, thank you so much. We really are super grateful. We're really excited about this game, and we are always really happy to see when people are as excited about our projects as we are.
Indeed.
Gigantic children that we are. So thank you so much if you have already backed. If you haven't backed and are having a think about it, then thank you for considering, and hopefully perhaps something we've said here will sway you to change your mind. Have a wonderful day, morning, evening, depending on where you are in the world.
When you're watching this.
And we will be back next week with another live video. And until then, have a great time, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.